No mai haere mai, welcome and warm Pacific greetings. I'm Kate, and in this video we're going to kōrero about long COVID in tamariki, children. We'll talk about what symptoms to look for, diagnosis, and strategies to support them with daily activity, sleep, diet, school, and medical appointments. We'll also give you information on other support services.
Long COVID can impact all age groups. We know that there's likely to be a skewing that, little children are less likely to get long COVID, but certainly it's happening. And we know teenagers are getting impacted and obviously adults as well.
Living with a post-viral illness like long COVID can be incredibly hard, especially for tamariki. Being a child is a time of growth and exploration. Having long COVID can be really disruptive and impact on their ability to go to school, socialise with friends, play sport, and generally be themselves.
I think if you recognise that you have, children get COVID and so have, potential to get long COVID, and they have certain characteristics, like, as I was saying, maybe long time for recovering from viral illness and things like that. I mean, really what has to happen is supportive of them resting.
Early recognition and diagnosis of long COVID is very beneficial in improving their symptoms, which can vary significantly between children and over time.
There's a period before a diagnosis is made, 3 months for long COVID, 6 months for ME/CFS. This is a period where I think healing can occur. And so if one can quieten down the inflammation, peripheral inflammation, quieten down the inflammation that's going on in the brain and the central nervous system by, things like Reiki or some meditation or things that you could get children to do that would be calming, I think these could be very helpful.
So let's talk about symptoms. The most common symptoms are ongoing tiredness or fatigue, headaches, and difficulty concentrating. Other symptoms can also include dizziness, high heart rate, especially on standing, mood changes, muscle twitching or tremors, sensitivity to cold or hot temperatures, sensitivity to noise or light, chest pain, shortness of breath, ringing in the ears, muscle or joint aches or pain, loss of taste or smell, skin problems such as rashes or itching skin, or digestive issues such as stomach pains, cramps, reflux, difficulty swallowing, nausea, and loose stools.
The other thing was the hypersensitivity of the senses. Now, I'd never, of course, experienced this before, but ME people and long COVID people have this hypersensitivity of all of the sensory things, and this can be noise, it can be light. So, we learnt with time that we had to darken the room that my daughter was in. Watching TV is something which can be very overstimulating, and so parents can help control that.
Like in adults, long COVID can impact multiple systems in the body, such as the respiratory system, hormones, digestive system, muscles and joints, the liver, kidneys and heart, and the nervous system. We've included a full symptom list via the link in the video description.
One aspect with children and young people is that we do know that children are less likely to get long COVID, but to look out for the signs and symptoms. And certainly let kids, do as much resting as possible if you see any signs. And sometimes that can be change in moods, just general tiredness.
If your tamariki are experiencing ongoing symptoms 3 months after having COVID-19, they could be experiencing long COVID. In some tamariki, long COVID could be subtle, and this can make it hard to diagnose. So look out for if your tamariki may look well but lack wairua or spirit. They might let you know that they feel unwell, but they can't explain why. They may have problems sleeping or struggle to get up in the morning, may not want to do the usual activities, or have less focus than normal. As a parent, you may just be aware that things are not right.
So what are some of the key things that a parent can do to help their children if they come down with either ME/CFS or long COVID? I mean, one of the things is believe in them and what they're going through and what they're feeling. You know, just have belief and support, and try and create an environment for the children and the family member which is supportive and empathetic and wraps around them to give them the best chance of healing.
Symptoms of long COVID may not be apparent immediately after the COVID-19 infection and may take up to 4 weeks to develop. Your tamariki can also get long COVID if they had little or no symptoms to the COVID-19 virus. If you feel your tamariki may have long COVID, use the symptom list and ask them specific questions or talk to their teacher to see if they have noticed anything different with their learning or behaviour at school. Currently, there's no specific test to diagnose long COVID, which can be challenging and frustrating. Doctors will generally gather information about your tamariki's initial COVID-19 infection, previous medical history, and ongoing symptoms to diagnose long COVID. They may order blood or other tests, take their blood pressure, or refer them to a specialist to rule out other conditions or support them with specific symptoms. This could be a cardiorespiratory specialist, immunologist, neurologist, or physio or occupational therapist, dietitian or nutritionist. It's typical for people with long COVID, not just tamariki, to have tests that show nothing is wrong, and this adds to the complexity of the situation. If all the tests come back as normal, this doesn't mean your tamariki doesn't have long COVID. Use our symptom list and tracking template to track your tamariki's symptoms and take this with you to your doctor's appointments. These are available via the link in the video description. It's important to keep in touch with your doctor or health provider throughout the time your tamariki has long COVID, so they can monitor your child's various symptoms and how they change over time. Recovery is different for every child, and it's very hard to predict what the course of the illness might be. Depending on the symptoms your tamariki has, your doctor or health provider may need to prescribe medication. Ensure your tamariki take these as prescribed and keep an eye out for any changes in their symptoms, particularly if any get worse. There's more information on how best to deal with doctors and health providers in video 12. Our website, mesupport.org.nz, also has a section for medical professionals. There are a number of related conditions that can occur in the aftermath of a viral illness like COVID-19. Some of them are rare but worth mentioning. This includes multi-system inflammatory syndrome, MIS, PANS, pediatric acute onset neuropsychiatric syndrome, POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and ME/CFS. There's more information on POTS, including a simple test that you can do, in video 4, and the others are detailed in the Long COVID Kids resource via the link in the video description. Now that we've covered symptoms and diagnosis, let's look at strategies to support your tamariki and whanau. The key things for your tamariki's well-being are illness management strategies discussed in this kete of videos, medical support, emotional support for your tamariki, along with you as parents, and support navigating the healthcare and school or education system. I
mean, obviously finding a clinician who at least affirms the illness. Parents can do things like when my daughter had a medical appointment. Now what often happens is you go to the doctors and you sit in the waiting room for an hour and a half sometimes, maybe if you're lucky less, and I mean the energy level of the person with ME/CFS or long COVID will just spiral down. And so I would ring up the receptionist and say, will you call me when we're 5 minutes away from an appointment, so I could take my daughter down and so she could go and meet you. And they were pretty cross about that initially, but we got that done.
Let's discuss these. The first is pacing. Pacing, simply put, is a way of planning and managing the way in which your tamariki uses their energy. Through balancing their activity, pacing may help your tamariki to avoid PEM and gradually increase their activity levels. PEM is post-exertional malaise, which is when symptoms get worse after physical, mental, emotional and sensory activities. Incorporating periods of rest throughout the day and in between activities is a great way to start using pacing in your child's routine. Long COVID Kids, a group in the UK, have developed 2 fantastic kids resources called Cautious Tortoise and Pacing Penguins, which are available in information via the video description. For more information on pacing, watch video 5. The second is nutrition. Maintaining a healthy diet is important in the recovery of long COVID. This will include a variety of fruit and vegetables, good quality protein, and lots of fluids such as water or milk. We understand getting tamariki to eat healthy can be challenging, especially when they're not feeling well. But try to limit their sugar, as this impacts the immune system's ability to heal and fight threats. This includes lollies, cakes, biscuits, chocolate, and processed foods. Keep these for treats. If your child cannot stomach a large meal or they're experiencing a poor appetite, try offering them small amounts of food more often. Healthy smoothies are a great alternative. Food containing probiotics such as yogurt, fermented vegetables, sourdough bread, and some cheeses are also helpful for gut health, which can also be an issue with long COVID. For more information on nutrition, watch video 6. Next is sleep. Tamariki with long COVID are just as likely to have disrupted sleep as adults with long COVID. For some, this may mean that it is hard to get to sleep or sleep is broken. For others, it might mean sleeping for much longer periods of time than usual. 12 hours or more is not uncommon. Most people with long COVID say that no matter how much sleep they get, they do not feel rested. This can affect just about everything in your tamariki's day. Using basic sleep strategies and balancing activity and rest during the day can help. Sometimes sleep disturbances are due to a nervous system dysfunction, so relaxing exercises and breathing techniques can help calm the nervous system and support sleep. If sleep doesn't improve, you may need to ask your doctor or health provider for advice to manage this. For more useful information about sleep, watch video 8. There are other areas of support that can help your tamariki, such as support for their education, mental health, whanau support, and financial assistance. Let's start with school or kura. Education is an important part of your tamariki's lives. Ask your school or kura to help you work together to support your child's learning needs.
Really, I guess, the message is just sort of the same as a parent or a teacher as well. I think it's important in classrooms too to just keep an eye out for these behaviours or signs and symptoms that they're not recovering very well. And the message is again resting.
Your child's school have a responsibility to ensure they adequately support students with ongoing medical needs. Share with them the symptom list, tracking sheets, and your symptom management plan so they can better understand the situation and help support you. Many schools have a special education needs coordinator, a SENCO, and some have a school social worker. The SENCO or social worker may be able to help support your child to navigate any part-time or home-based learning needs, as well as gradually reintegrating back into school once they're well enough. During this process, it's also important for your tamariki's mental health to maintain relationships with their teacher and peers at school as much as they can. Talk with your child's teacher and SENCO about how to achieve this.
You know, it's very hard for a family when you see the joy of a young person just kind of being sucked out. And of course, young people don't understand chronic illness. I mean, the network of friends don't. And so one of the worst things was just the gradual losing of the friends network. That was devastating. So, you know, just paying attention to those things is quite important.
If regular school isn't an option for your child, or they are only able to attend part-time, there are a few alternatives depending on their needs. Your doctor can refer your child to a regional health school, or you can look at Te Kura, the New Zealand Correspondence School. The regional health schools are set up to support tamariki of any age who can't attend school due to health issues, and learning can be done on a health school premise or at home. A pause in formal education and or homeschooling may be the best option if your tamariki have severe symptoms and the pressure of a formal learning environment is too much for them. Discuss the options with your whanau, current school and doctor, and we have further information via the link in the video description. While the most obvious options may affect your child's physical health, it's important to consider how best you can maintain their mental health and whanau health. Counselling can help tamariki who need support dealing with the consequences of the illness, particularly with significant changes around the ability to do what they love most, like socialise with friends or play sport.
You know, trying, as I say, you know, if you can, without too much sort of anxiety to get some friends to come and visit them was good.
When your tamariki go through something like long COVID, it's also hard on the whanau and caregivers. Scheduling in time to support your physical, mental, spiritual and social well-being are really important, as your tamariki will need you to be strong for them. It's okay to cry, feel worried or angry in this situation, just like your tamariki will too. If things become too difficult to deal with, talk with a trusted friend, whanau member or reach out for help through one of the long COVID or ME/CFS support groups or organisations.
I think it's great today that there are networks of families, there are social media groups which have families, and so I would sort of say that, you know, if you have children that come down with this, try and find people that have experienced the same thing, because they will have found out things and looking after their children that will be helpful to you. It may not be the same things for every child, but you'll be incredibly supported.
kidshealth.org.nz and longcovidkids.org have fantastic resources available, which include how to spot long COVID, how to talk with your tamariki about it, and much more. If you'd like support from other parents, you can join the Long COVID Kids New Zealand Facebook group. The link is included on our website. NZ Care for Me is a moderated Facebook group for carers of kids with ME/CFS and related conditions. It welcomes parents and caregivers of tamariki up to early 20s who have or suspect they have long COVID. You can find links to all of our recommended support groups and resources to download via the link in the video description. If your tamariki has moderate to severe long COVID, they may be eligible for a child disability allowance through work and income. This is not means tested and can help pay for health-related expenses for a child who requires constant care and supervision due to a disability or illness. If your rangatahi are working and 16 or over, but unable to work for more than 15 hours a week, and their doctor is not expecting recovery for 2 years or more, they may be able to apply to Work and Income for the supported living payment. Check out the Work and Income website for more information, or ask for advice through the Long COVID Kids New Zealand Facebook group, or one of the regional MECFS support organisations. Work and Income advocates are also available nationwide, and a link to their services is included in the information via the link in the video description. In conclusion, the best way to support your tamariki is to identify their symptoms as soon as possible, then work with their doctor or health provider to get a diagnosis and create an illness management plan. Ensure your child is pacing correctly, getting good sleep, and has a good diet. Work closely with their school or kura to work through the best plan for their education. And don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's through the Facebook group, support organisation, or simply with friends or whanau. This can be an extremely difficult time, so looking after yourself is really important. Ngā mihi, and thank you for watching. Please do get in touch if you have any questions, and if you found this video helpful, please share it.